Today's episode is being sponsored by Newform. Newform is community in app form. It helps you connect with others going through similar stuff, whether it's recovery, grief, anxiety, or you just feel like you need community. And the best part about the Newform app is that it's free. It offers daily live and virtual experiences from recovery meetings and yoga to creative workshops, run clubs. It's led by amazing and trusted organizations like the Phoenix, Smart Recovery, and Mental Health America. This app has already connected hundreds of thousands of people across the United States. It also has very cool features that help you track progress, like personal recovery milestones. And look, it's just a space to connect. 7 out of 10 people say they feel more connected as a result of using this app. So if you're looking for support or community and you're not really sure where to start, check out Newform. Just go to newform.org or search Newform Recovery and Wellbeing in the app or Google Store. This is an amazing application. It's free and it's led by great people. Check it out.
Rock and roll. Thanks, Grace. Thanks, Naya. Thanks for being here. Grateful for both of you. Welcome back to the Zach Clark Show. Today, this is a funny one. So Stephanie Szostak is with us today, and I'm going to tell a story before I properly introduce her. Stephanie was actually talking to my COO, Matthew, about some project, this app, this playbook app that she's created and kind of rolling out into the world. And he's kind of a tech guy, so she was asking for some advice. And then he started doing some due diligence on Stephanie and realized that she's been in all these movies and she's had this beautiful acting career. And he called me and said, like, she should totally come on the podcast. And I said, I did like one little search and I was like, incredible, not just for your acting, but the advocacy you're putting out to the world and just your belief in kind of self-improvement. The book Selfish, which we'll get into. So Stephanie Szostak, welcome. That was a very long introduction.
Thanks, Zach. I liked it. It was personal in the moment. Yeah. I'm very thankful to be here. I love the work that you do.
Thank you. Thank you. So in terms of films, we got The Devil Wears Prada, we got Dinner for Schmucks, Iron Man 3. We were kind of talking off camera that you've probably worked with a lot of very cool people, which we can save that conversation for a later date. I want to start with golf.
All right.
You played college golf.
I did.
William and Mary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, how did that? You're from France. How did that? How does someone from Paris, France, with this amazing accent end up playing golf in Virginia? Right?
My dad's Virginia at William and Mary. My dad's American, so there you go.
Okay.
He was a scratch golfer for most of his life, and that's kind of what we did. And so I followed and sort of did it, didn't really love it, but I was kind of good and started competing as a teenager and then went off to college to play golf, which that was actually an amazing experience because of the competition and the team spirit and also falling on your ass a lot and, not playing well. I think golf is an amazing lesson for life in so many ways. You shank the ball, you never expect it, and you got to recover.
The thing I love about golf and sobriety is everyone's cheated in golf. At least I will say I have cheated before in golf. But once I got sober and I have a conscience, I couldn't really cheat anymore. And I would maybe have a suspicion that someone I was playing with was cheating. And it's just all about acceptance and just letting go. And if someone wants to cheat, that's their own. I might not do business with them, but they can win the hole if they really want to.
So I'll tell you a story you might like.
Yes,
my dad
please.
caddied for me. This was my first tournament ever. So I'm probably 12. And I'm playing with a lady and I'm a kid. And
like a lady, like
a lady, like my age now, probably.
Okay, and you're in a competition.
No, it was medal play. So, but just you had to keep your own score.
Oh my God, I love this.
And so we get on the green. I get on the green, and my putter's lined up behind my ball, and I'm looking towards the hole. And as I do that, my putter moves the ball slightly, and I'm like, like this. And the lady goes, "It's okay, just put it back." And my dad goes, "Oh no, that's a penalty stroke." And it was the first hole, and I look at him, I'm like, "I hate you," and he's like, "That's a penalty stroke." So he taught me early on.
Amazing, I love that.
Cheat.
Do you feel? I want to get into the point in your career because it's amazing. You kind of go to college, you play golf, and then you have a little bit of like a quarter life crisis where you change your entire career, right? So I guess my question is, do you attribute any of that to kind of like, was your dad hard on you around the golf? Did you feel like there were expectations not to?
Yeah, I mean, I was a people pleaser, definitely. I didn't want to rock the boat and wanted to do what I was expected to do. And played golf, then went to school for business and worked at Chanel in the business world for 2.5 years. And then all of a sudden I was like, the office life isn't really something that I think is going to fulfill me. And so I think that's the midlife or quarter midlife crisis you were referring to. I'm young. I'm 26 years old.
Quarter, so that makes you mean that 104, that'd be a good life.
Yeah. No, 26. I'm
times 4. 26 times 4 if it's your quarter life crisis.
Oh, yeah. I was like 25. That's
100. I'll take 100.
My grandma lived till she was 101. So.
No way.
Yeah. Good genes. Good genes.
Really good genes. Really good genes.
You didn't get it.
Is it a TV?
Yeah. Oh, it's an advertisement that's causing a whole lot of... Yeah, it's okay. We'll just skim over.
Well, it's funny because actually, like, one of my last questions today, like, the producers are trying to make me a little bit more funny or fun. And I was going to say, I don't watch TV. What is the one television show, if you could live in it, that you would pick? Like, if you were living in the show and you had to live in that show forever.
Me?
Yeah.
Holy shit. A television show that I could live in would have to be something fun.
Like Cheers is like, that feeds my alcoholism, but I don't know.
Shrinking. Is that the name of it? Shrinking. Yes, because they're all into freaking mental health. Okay. But it's also funny and they're themselves. Yes, I'd be in that. And with Harrison Ford and everybody else.
Okay, so Shrinking. So we got that out of the way already. I am doing good. I am staying on task.
You're funny,
today.
Zach.
I'm staying on task. So at 26, are you living in New York when you're working?
Living in New York City, and I start modeling. Put all that college education to good use and start modeling. Then that leads to doing commercials and eventually taking my first acting.
You're not going to get past the modeling thing that easy. So was it modeling like you're out partying modeling, or was it just you were?
No, so I have to say, I had a brother who had addiction, was a heroin addict, and he was 8 years older than me. He was my hero. He was, my big brother. Like, I don't know if I know you have older siblings,
yeah.
But my role model in a weird way. But he also taught me to stay away from drugs. So I was not partying. I never felt comfortable in that scene. But I did travel to Japan, to Spain. I did fashion catalogs.
So you say because you lost your brother, right?
I did. Yeah.
And so may I ask a few questions? Yeah. So
please, keeps him alive. So I like to talk.
That's
about
beautiful.
Him.
I actually believe that.
Yeah.
I know that he's with us today. So he was 34. You were 26. It's interesting. I talk to a lot of people. I work in behavioral health care, and what you just said really hit me between the eyes, because the idea that so what I will hear a lot of times is if someone has an alcoholic mom or dad, or they have an alcoholic brother or sister, or someone who's got a substance use disorder, that will keep them sober for a period of time. Like they might start drinking or drugging later. But for you, it actually worked. Like you, because your brother was a heroin addict, you stayed away from.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I was a teenager, I definitely smoked. He gave me my first joint.
Does that feel like you're breaking a rule there by saying you smoked?
Smoked. Well, at the time, it was like drugs.
Yeah.
I'm older than you, but even that, I just remember having paranoia and this feeling of losing control, and I didn't like that.
I hated weed.
Yeah,
weed was not for me.
And drinking, I drank, but I definitely got drunk, got sick in college, but my dad was amazing. He said to me, you'll always know the moment where you're like, I should probably not have another drink. And he goes, and sometimes you'll listen to that voice and sometimes you won't.
Did you listen to that voice, Grace? No. Grace.
But he told me... He told me that before I went to college, and I think just that gave me awareness. maybe it wasn't in me to. Yeah, so I don't like excess.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the things we do in recovery is we make amends. And so Grace, who's in the room helping produce the show because Sarah's out, went to SMU, and as part of Manual and Release U, which we're, kind of talking about outside of this podcast, we're going back to the college where Grace went. And I'm excited because she's got some amends to kind of crank out, and she probably ran through some fences and... Right, Grace?
Parking garages.
Yes. What did you do at the parking garage?
I totaled my car.
In a parking garage. That's amazing.
How old were you?
22. 8 a.m. Blackout drunk. Yeah.
It's a lot of velocity to get in a parking garage to total the car.
I also didn't touch any cars. It was all the poles.
Wow.
It's amazing. We'll have to get that story on camera.
I know. I love that you're smiling and that...
She just had 3 years.
Yes, that's amazing.
The most ridiculous story. I mean, I have a ton of them, but that one's pretty good.
Amazing. All right, well, I like where this is going. We got good energy going here, Stephanie. Okay. So your brother, you're watching him. It helps you...
Total his car a bunch of times too, by the way. Yeah.
And where was he living?
In France, in suburbs of Paris we lived.
And you said 30 years ago?
20. Yeah.
Can you give any insight to how the world received him in terms of did he ever get treatment? Did he ever get help?
He didn't want to, he did not want to, he wanted to stop using heroin. He was 20 when we found out, and he only used heroin for about a year and a half. But he got cirrhosis and hepatitis C and was HIV positive because of it. My parents were amazing. My dad actually lived outside of our apartment in another, different town for over a year with him to sort of get him out of the environment. And I think that's because before that, he would I know you're not supposed to say get clean anymore.
The language thing's gotten out of control. Okay. You can say he got clean.
He stopped using and then used again, and that we had that dance for a long time. Yeah. But eventually he got out of it. He became a Rastafari, and as a religion, and that's what helped him. So he still smoked weed every single day. He had dreadlocks down to beard like this, lots of wisdom, too smart for his own good. So how the world received him, there was a lot of looks even after, because he looked different with his dreads, but my parents were they didn't really care about other people's looks. There was no shame. People talk a lot about shame. There was no shame, but there was definite discomfort, embarrassment. I didn't talk when I found out he was on heroin. I was 11, and I didn't tell anybody at school because it was just too much.
Scary.
It's very scary, and also very scary at home. There was a lot of volatility and anger, and
there weren't a lot of resources.
No, there was. He could have. We talked a lot about going to see a psychologist, which he had when he was a teenager because he got kicked out of schools and all that. But he never wanted to talk to anyone.
Do you have other siblings?
No.
So this is your brother?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I mean it's interesting, right? Because, and it's something that we kind of talk about here at Release and in the office and in the world a lot. Is I make it very clear to use the word heroin when I talk about my addiction or substance abuse, because it's a word that's been demonized and kind of stigmatized, and people think it's this really nasty, dirty word. And it's just not. I mean, I see the word heroin the same as I see beer or weed.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
My brother actually said to me, he goes, "You can try anything, don't try heroin." Wow. I remember him saying that to
strong.
Me. But I love that you say that, because it's just people will find their thing, right?
I mean, especially in today's world, there are so many, and we were talking a little bit about this before we came in the room. There's just so many addictions.
Yeah.
Sex addiction, phone addiction, gaming addiction, gambling addiction, porn addiction. It's not just
shopping.
You name it.
Yeah.
you name it. And for me, I think one of the things that I try to do is give people permission to ask for help, regardless of what it is. So for me, maybe it was heroin. For you, maybe it's sex or diet or whatever it is. I feel like we live in a world where it's just so scary to put your hand up and say like, hey, I need help with this.
I agree. I think especially when you're young, it's hard to ask for help because you think, I don't know, it's almost like a survival thing. You got to be strong. You got to be, otherwise people are going to get to you. So asking for help is kind of a weakness, can be seen as a weakness, I think, when you're young.
Which brings me to your moment. So you're 26 to 30-ish, you're modeling. Mm-hmm. You make a nice little career out of that, and then you decide to get into acting. I mean, at 30 years old, how do you crack? I mean, how did you do it? I mean, how did you? Because you've been in some really big stuff. You've had a really nice career, and it's interesting to me that you go to school for business, you work at Chanel, you become a model, and then all of a sudden,
I take a theater class at 29. It took me, by the way, like 2 years or 3 years to listen to that small little voice that was like, "What if I took an acting class?" And so finally, I get my.
So you sat with it for 3 years.
Yes, like because it was like, "Who the hell do you think you are? Come on!" Like,
yeah. Oh, wow. I love this story. Okay.
How I did it, I mean, I loved it so much that I just had to keep studying. And then I got some independent movies. I got early on a great indie that went into Tribeca. I had the lead female role, but then the producers didn't have the music rights, so the movie never was released. So it was a lot of up and.
Is it still out there? Could it ever get released?
I think, yeah, you can probably rent it now somewhere
nice.
on Amazon or something. But, yeah, I just kept doing it. And there was a little bit of a fuck you attitude to other people because a lot of people were like, what are you doing? You know, somebody asked my husband, she thinks she's going to end up in Hollywood or something. Were
you married at the time?
Yeah.
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 And he supported you?
Yes.
That's awesome. It's such a valuable lesson too for people in my shoes in recovery, and that's a lot of the people that listen here, a lot of parents that listen to this hoping the best for their son or husband or whoever it might be. I just think it's so crazy when I'm talking to a 23 or 24-year-old and they think their life is over. And here you are at 30, which is still very young, but taking a complete different direction and finding a career that you love.
Yeah, I think that looking back, I didn't know at the time, but looking back, I also think, I'm like, that is such a good lesson that you never know what's ahead, that you can keep exploring and discovering and learning. And I wrote a book, 3 years ago in midlife. I never thought I would do that. I do speaking. I was so shy. And so just keep exploring. You never know what you're going to discover.
Yeah, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get into. I mean, the recent part of your life is what's really intriguing to me because you've just done so much good in the world. But I'm gonna finish on this thought pattern here.
Wait, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, ask anything.
Because you asked me how'd you do it. A big thing for me was my theater teacher. She was so tough. She was from the actor studio. She was super, like old school ballet teacher, mean.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
Dance mom vibes.
I don't watch that.
No, dance mom is keep on picking on Grace, but Grace was a dancer growing up, and there's like certain moms I think that are around the dance studio that are like, you're gonna do it this way, and I'm gonna watch you, and if you don't do it this way, then we're just gonna do it again.
Or more like the movie, The Drummer. What was that movie? Whiplash. Yeah, did you see that?
Can't say I've seen Whiplash.
Okay. Oh, it's amazing. Anyways, so yeah, very whiplashy dance mom vibey, but tough love.
Okay.
But I think that is a reason why it really motivated me and to study, to push myself, to keep going and to go through all the rejection and all that. There was something about that. And the reason I'm asking you is because you're into behavioral health, and it's such an old school kind of thing to be tough because we're all now, especially in parenting, about being encouraging and lifting people up. Do you think there's value in tough love? This is my question to you.
I think you're asking one of the best questions you could ask. What I heard you just explain was some form of probably trauma, if I'm being honest, right? Like, but how do you draw a line between trauma and someone that really wants the best out of you and is doing it in a way that they feel like is going to activate or motivate you? Like, I can say for myself, I played sports growing up. I actually want to be told what to do. I want to be coached. I want to be given direction. That makes it very clear to me. So I never minded when someone got in my face. Now, what I've learned in my career working with other people is I can't assume what worked for me works for someone else, right? So just because someone got in my face and said, get down and give me 10 push-ups, and I did those 10 push-ups, and I was like, all right, let's go. Like, I'm going to do it better this time. The next person that I talk to, I tell them to give me 10 push-ups. They might, put their finger up or try to fight me or just quit.
Right.
And give up.
Yeah.
And so I would turn it back on you and say, do you think back on that time in your life fondly? Do you feel like you've processed it? Do you feel like you were really just trying? Because I don't think there's anything wrong. If you said to me, no, I was just trying to get at her and win. And
no, I think I definitely processed it. And I think I know this about me too. I am motivated by negative reinforcement. What I had to learn how to do was be okay with positive reinforcement, because that actually used to make me,
God forbid someone tell you good job.
Yes.
Right.
And then I would almost have to prove them that I suck. I actually got trained to fight when I did Ironman 3, and my coach was like, great job. And I was like, don't tell me that. I'm just going to fuck it up on the next day. He was like, okay. So I learned what I learned was my ego would either get inflated or would get completely deflated with other people's validation or lack of. And so I learned to realize that my value does not come from the outcome, that it needs to come from inside, from the work that I do, from my effort, from how
it's
I
hard.
show up.
It's hard. I know, like, for me, one of my love languages is definitely like words of affirmation. I need to be told, hey, good job. And that fuels me. That's not always like the easiest thing as the boss, because like no one wants to tell the boss good job. It's like this polarizing position I find myself in sometimes, but it's interesting. Can you sing? Do you know how to sing?
No.
It's very
Why are you asking me this?
Well, I mean, so one, I'll probably become an actor one day. So one of my fears when I become an actor is that I can't sing.
You mean you can't carry a tune?
I can't. No, I can't sing.
Oh, I can carry a tune.
You can?
Yeah.
So if you were auditioning for a role, you could.
Okay, so this is
like I'm gonna ask some questions about acting, because like here's the truth. I've so many unanswered questions about acting, and I want to get into the mental health side of Hollywood, but like, if you can't sing, do you not get the job?
No, so I actually had to audition for a role where they asked me to sing. So I go to a recording studio and I'm like, we're going to do this song. And we start and he's like, oh, you got a good voice. But I can't come in at the right time. I keep coming a beat earlier, a beat later. And so finally I look at him on the other side of the mirror. I'm like, what is going on? Why am I doing that? And he goes, no rhythm. So that's why I can't sing.
No rhythm.
No rhythm. I don't hear I can't clap.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever told this. I mean, I'm just like, this is really jogging a lot of stuff for me. Do you know what Soul Cycle is?
Yeah.
So one day we're going to find, so I auditioned to be a Soul Cycle instructor at one point in my life.
Okay.
Which was the most embarrassing thing ever. I was in New York. I was single, and I went to a group workout with friends, and I was like able to get through the workout pretty good. And the girl, Jordan, who was one of the friends at the workout, we were breakfast afterwards, and she's like, have you ever thought about teaching at Soul Cycle? I said, no. She was the person who kind of set up the auditions. She said, come take a couple classes and see how it is. So I start going to a couple Soul Cycle classes, and she says, I want you to try out. Like, I want you to, but I had it like earmarked. I've never been more embarrassed in my life, Stephanie. I walk into this studio. in Tribeca, their like main training studio. There's probably 100 people there. They are bedazzled and have fun colors on. And I'm just like walking in like a black t-shirt and black shorts. And you basically get 60 seconds, 2 songs. So I had to choreograph 2 songs for 60 seconds. And I was maybe like, so there's a first round. They pushed me through the first round because I knew Jordan. And then the second round is when you get to do your songs. And I'll never forget like the first person to get on their bike got on and screamed into the mic like, let's fuck. And like he had it. And he was like, he had the rhythm and the beat and the whole thing going. And I clammed up like into as a turtle on my bike. And I can't do that. And I got up on the bike and it was the longest 2 minutes of my life. I think I just stood up and just paddled.
You felt like you were being put into a box that you didn't fit in.
It was horrible. Yeah. It was Nas If I Ruled the World. My song choice was horrible. I picked Nas If I Ruled the World and Mr. Big to Be With You. Like terrible riding songs. The whole thing. I ran so far out of that studio as quick as I could, and I have not set foot back in a Soul Cycle. It was horrible.
You learned, and you wouldn't be doing what you're doing now.
No, I was doing this.
Oh, you
I was
were?
going to like, this was going to be a side, like in my delusional mind, I was going to wake up at 6 a.m. and teach a 6 a.m. and a 7 a.m. and then go run a business.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many things do you have to do to prove that?
There's some issues here. When do you know you make it as an actress? Like when is the moment?
Never.
You don't think you've made it?
Made it? No, because I've been unemployed right now for 16 months. I do have a movie coming out in October.
Which is what? Let's plug it.
It's called Soul on Fire. It's a true story of John O'Leary, who got burnt as a child and then worked through his trauma. And it's a beautiful story. But yeah, I've been unemployed for 16 months. So definitely haven't
But
made
there's
it.
a lot of people in this world that would love to have your resume.
I do too. I love my resume. I'm very proud of my career, but it's to be continued, and there's a lot of unknown, and all that is fine.
So as you've gotten into, because I want to shift gears more towards your book and self-discovery and this whole, I love the title of the book too, Selfish. I mean, it's such a great word, and I feel like everyone deserves to be selfish, right? Like we all deserve to love ourselves and do things nice for ourselves, and we think for some reason we shouldn't.
The name came from a branding company. My friends work at Little Big Brands, and they gave me some names, and I saw this, and I was like, well, that's not going to be the name. And then it stuck with me, and I was like, wait a minute, it could be like selfish. And then I thought, our most important relationship is the relationship we have with ourselves. And then I thought this is all about self-discovery and learning who we are so that we can be who we are in the world, and about spending time every day to remind ourselves of who we are and what helps us be who we are. So I thought, okay, let's do it. It's a little bit doesn't fit the space of mental health, well-being, it's a little bit rebel. And I was like, let's go with it.
So prior to the knowledge you have today, because you've clearly evolved a lot as a human, do you remember in your first, I'm always curious about The Devil Wears Prada or Iron Man 3, when you walk and it's the first day, is it like a family? Do you walk in there, are you kind of eyeing people up? Do you find you're safe people? Is it truly just work, like you're in and out? Or like what's the actual experience of acting in one of these big movies? From a mental health perspective and from just like a relationship perspective?
Well, I'll give you the before and after.
Okay.
So before for me would be I'm walking into this brand new environment and I'm just afraid. What are people going to think about me? I have to be nice. I have to be a good actor. I'm concerned. I'm acting, and then I see people in Video Village and the producers and the director, and I keep looking at them, thinking, what are they saying about me? Everything is revolving around me basically. Not in a good way, just in a very self-conscious way. For me, it got so much like that it paralyzed me. My first big movie was Dinner for Schmucks, and I remember going home at night and watching movies. There was a movie with Jennifer Aniston on, and I was looking at her. You know, she does those really cute faces, and I was like, oh, I should do that tomorrow. I should. And like you said when you were Soul Cycle, and you said, I can't do what this guy was doing, I felt like I lost my ability to bring my shit to the part, to shine in my own way. So I worked for, 10 years developing my craft, and it all went away. I was just playing the quality, trying to be the thing that other people wanted me to be. And then after doing a lot of work, now when I go on a set, it's unknown, and I love that. I think about giving to people. That's something that everybody I meet, and learning about them. So asking questions, just relationships. I think to myself, one of the things I repeat to myself is I'm not inferior or superior to anyone. And so it's embracing the unknown, and then knowing I'm going to have good days and bad days, but not judging. So trying not to judge myself, having grace, I just told you that, for myself and others. So
yeah.
And just taking risks on set.
So was there a moment where you said, I'm going to have to really work on myself if I want my career? Yeah. Can you talk about that?
It was a movie. So I did Dinner for Schmucks, and after that I did a movie called R.I.P.D., which was the bomb of the summer. Like total flop. But it was with Ryan Reynolds, Kevin Bacon, and Jeff Bridges. So pretty good cast. Yes. And we were sitting in pre-production, the director, the four of us, and everybody took a break except Kevin Bacon and me. And his head buried in his script, concentrating. And I had a crush on him when I was in my 20s, and I was like, holy fuck, there's Kevin Bacon. But I said, hey, I don't want to bother you. I just wanted to say, I saw the movie The Woodsman. I don't know if you saw it. It was a small indie. He plays a pedophile. It's a tough movie, tough role. But I said I thought he was amazing in it. And he looked up with such vulnerability, and he said, wow, man, thank you so much for saying that. Not too many people watch that one. And then he goes, I'm such a mess. I didn't sleep last night. I always get like this before a new movie. And I was like, what? You get? And I didn't say, but in my head, I'm like, you get like this? You're Kevin Bacon.
This is Kevin Bacon. Like,
you
show up and...
And that really helped me, because I realized, oh my God, he's a huge movie star. He's done, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, because he's done so many movies, and he still gets like this. So that sort of helped me realize it's okay to feel like that. What I just need to work on is how do you operate when you feel like that? How do you take it and work from it? And I was commuting between Boston and New York.
For that movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm at Penn Station going back to Boston, and there was a book called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. And I had heard Deepak Chopra on the AM radio in LA like a few weeks before that. And I was like, who's this guy? It really resonates. And so I picked up the book. I was really embarrassed because I thought self-help stuff was crazy and
God
stupid.
Forbid someone see you working on yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I still picked up the book, and I read it, the whole thing, on the train back to Boston. And I called my husband when I got to Boston, and I was like, I just read a book. It's going to change my life. And it was, all these principles that spoke to me, but I realized I wasn't living by any of those. Gratitude, giving, embracing the unknown. And I made myself 7 flashcards for the 7 laws, and every morning I would flip through them before I would go on set. That was my first version of a playbook, and that really helped me.
And so you got through that filming with the assistance of this book? Was Kevin Bacon, was he a giver? Was he nice?
Such a giver. So there was I think a chapter about giving, and I remember being on set and being like, oh my God, look at Kevin Bacon. He's coming to the makeup trailer with apples. Look at Jeff Bridges. He's being so nice to me. They're all doing these things. And it made me realize how other people are. Yes, he was so giving. We had a scene that was a phone call, and he was in the airport. And normally you do the phone call scene with a reader who's just going to read the other actors, and he got on the phone with me so that I could hear his voice. Yeah.
No, I mean, look, they said, and this is where I get jammed up a lot of times in life is, and the book Selfish kind of plays into this. I know the value of service, and there is a selfish element in service for me. Because when I'm serving or if I'm giving, I can't be thinking about myself, right? Like I can't. I have to be thinking. If I'm bringing you a glass of water, I'm focused on bringing you that glass of water, not why my day is terrible. And in recovery, we learn a lot about that. There's a saying like the greatest gift is in the giving, which I've always found to be very beautiful. It's from the Big Book in AA, and that always just seems so simple and so beautiful and so pure, and it's true.
It changes you when you focus on giving. So if you're annoyed with somebody or whatnot, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, what could I give to this person?
Yeah.
Give it a listening. And all of a sudden it literally changes how you're feeling.
Yeah. You're probably gonna have fun with that. I mean, like when you walk onto these sets from now on and there's like the young actress coming in, you can kind of hopefully give some of your experience.
I do. I played a mom quite a bit, and I love having TV kids. I do give a lot and create relationships. It's fun.
And is Hollywood awake to some of the substance abuse and mental health? I mean, it's a behavioral healthcare crisis. Is Hollywood awake to the behavioral healthcare crisis? Do they acknowledge that? Is there a therapist on set?
I've never seen actually therapists on set. People are more aware now, I think, just generally in the workforce. You have intimacy coordinators for sex scenes now. They should have mental health.
100%.
Yeah.
Or just let it be known that that's available, right? If you're having a tough day, any organization should, hope.
Maybe they do, and I'm just not thinking... I mean, I've definitely been on sets where I can think of, people reaching out to producers and people being very responsive and knowing that we live in an age where we need to take care of each other.
All right, I'm trying to decide where to go here.
All right. Just
because I want to get into, we've talked a little bit about the book. You don't just get to writing a book. We've talked a little bit about how you do speaking. When did you decide... You have this moment on set with Kevin Bacon. You read Deepak Chopra's book. When do you decide that you're going to really lean into the inner work? And
after that was sort of the beginning for me. And then that led to, I remember listening to podcasts, listening to Tim Ferriss. He was doing the 5-minute journal. Yeah. And I'm like, I've been doing that for 10 years. Love the so doing gratitude. Then I started doing meditation, first guided, then TM, and then realizing little by little that it's a daily thing that I have to do, and I'm not perfect, and sometimes I slip off, and then I'm like, all of a sudden the hamster wheel. It feels like I'm living in a hamster wheel inside of my head, and I'm like, oh shit.
Is there anything you can say that can is there words that can quantify your experience? Because I sit with you and you are a happy person. You seem very secure and authentic and just happy, right, in your life. And I'm sure that's not all the time, but here we are. And I know it's because of all the things you just talked about, right? Mm-hmm. It's the prayer, it's the meditation, it's the gratitude, it's those words, just like heroin is scary to some people, those words are scary.
Yes.
So can you put into words what those tools have done for you? Are you able to quantify that?
What comes to mind is game changer. And how I can, sometimes I slip, right? So I don't meditate for a few days. And like I said, all of a sudden my mind is racing and I can't be present and I get judgy about other people, about myself. And so then I realized, I find less joy. It's truly a game changer. It changes your perspective. It's like putting on sunglasses and you see the world differently. And sometimes I think my rituals are really important. So if those words are scary or the time commitment, like think about the things that you do every day, whether it's having a cup of coffee or sitting on the cam to take a poop in the morning. Like take time to read something that reconnects you to your heart, to what helps you deal with life, that reminds you of your value, of what you've gone through. Just doing that every morning, or listen to a piece of music that reconnects you, or go for a run. Like you run. Running is part of your mental health routine.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that helps me connect to my heart. I think it's harder than ever. I think the phone is terrible.
Yeah. Do you do anything? So do you try to disconnect the phone like an hour before you go to bed, or?
I'm not so great at that. I mean, the one thing I just did do recently, which I've talked about, is I have a work phone and I put all my social media on my work phone.
Yeah.
So I can leave that somewhere and not have to think about it, which has been really, really helpful to me.
Is your social media part of your work too, right?
At times. I mean, I certainly use it to promote release and to promote this podcast and to promote sobriety and wellness and running and all the things that I care about. I also am just like the next person where I'm guilty of scrolling and comparing out and feeling, why wasn't I invited to that thing, or whatever it is, you know? So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, the social media.
And with kids, you have kids. I mean, like.
Oh my God! Yeah, I have
terrifying.
An 18-year-old and a 22-year-old. My 18-year-old is attached to his phone. Which there's a thing like there's a meme or something where it's like me calling my son and him not replying, even though he does everything with his phone or something. But yeah, the phone addiction. For me, what works is waking up in the morning and telling, this is a thing that I have. I have my coffee. I don't look at my phone. I look at my playbook that's on my phone, but I don't look at anything else for an hour. So I have an hour of free phone time.
In the morning.
In the morning. And at night, too. I turn it off.
Who else? I mean, like I don't know. I feel like that would be hard for me. Just because I feel the need to respond and get.
But could you do 30 minutes?
I could do 5 hours. I'm not that. I mean, like I know I'm not that important, right? Like I could do whatever it is. I just have to.
Well, but start small. Could you be like, okay, I'm going to do 1 week where I do 30 minutes without the phone, and then see how different do I feel?
Yeah. I already feel different with this whole social media thing off my phone. I really do. I haven't felt this clear in years. I haven't. Because even if I catch myself, like I'll let myself kind of go down a little bit and then I'll stop and I'll put it to the side. I really will. It's been fascinating. But you mentioned the playbook, which I want to get into because I would feel like it would be doing a disservice if we didn't talk a little bit about how this all came to light. So you get interested in mental health. You have your own mental health journey, resiliency. I mean, you do some body positivity work. Like you've done a lot of things. How did you get to Selfish? And can you take us through this idea of a playbook? I mean, it works for me because I'm a sports guy, but how could people apply it to their everyday lives?
Yeah, so the hardest thing for me, the most challenging thing was remembering what all this stuff that I read in a book or in a podcast or even my own life lessons. And I realized that when I get triggered, I revert back to my old unfamiliar, unhelpful thought patterns. And so, like you have your bookshelf, let's say, with all your best books. Why can't you have a place on your phone, with all your best strategies for life? So yeah, just like a coach has a playbook, he doesn't rely on his memory to figure out what the best play is in the fourth quarter when it's 4th and 1. He looks at his play sheet constantly. So you can have on your phone your own strategies, your own greatest achievements, your self-talk, people who inspire you, takeaways from therapy, from recovery, from books. And then, so I created that. And then in the morning, I hit play and I choose a soundtrack. So depending on my mood, I'll choose whatever song I want. And I watch it. It takes 3 minutes.
What was the song this morning?
Chopin.
What is it?
Chopin, the classical piano.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sophisticated.
No,
Probably
it's kind
over
of
my head.
neutral. It's
Oh,
like
it's
for the
neutral, okay.
morning, it's just like, shh. But what's really cool is it's not one thing that helps us. It's different things. And every day we wake up, we feel differently. So on any single day, it's something different that's going to grab my attention. And I don't just watch it in the morning. I might watch it before a big meeting or in the middle of the day. You know, if I'm not feeling great, I might go and look at my playbook. And I have different playbooks. I have one for daily reminders. I have one for before I do a speaking engagement, before I go to play golf with all my golf things. And I created it because it didn't exist. So
you write it out and then it stores in the phone and it's your...
Instagram stories so you take a picture and you write words on it. Well, that's basically your playbook. You could have, let's say, a picture. I saw your walls of your running medals. You could have a picture of your medals, and on it you would write I can do hard things, for example. So those, you could have all your proud moments could be part of your playbook. But then you could have just a picture of a book you're reading and highlight the sentence that you really want to remember. And that's going to reconnect you to the whole book.
And how many playbooks do you have? Like, do you personally, when you wake up, are you choosing from 5? Is it 10? Is it 30?
I don't know how many I have. Yeah, probably like 8 or 9. I have one for create. It's like all the things that moments in life I created, but also artistic endeavors. And I have golf, acting, speaking, daily reminders.
What did you watch this morning?
Daily reminders.
Daily reminders.
Yeah, it's kind of the neutral. Yeah.
Okay. I love it. And so Selfish, the book, is the kind of guide to creating your own playbook,
because
right?
during COVID, I partnered with a mental health nonprofit called Give an Hour, and they asked me to talk about this concept of the playbook. And everybody would ask, what goes in your playbook? Is it quotes? And I was like, no, it's a lot more than quotes. And somebody contacted me and said, have you ever thought of writing a book? And I was like, no, what would the book be? And she said, a workbook to guide people to create their own playbook. So it's 8 exercises based in positive psychology that will help you create your own playbook.
It's amazing. And you can get it anywhere books are sold.
Yes.
Barnes & Noble, whatever it is. And then you've been working on an app, right, to kind of make this easier and more accessible on the phone. So
the app is available for free. It's not perfect. It's a work in progress, but you can download it on selfishplaybook.com.
Selfishplaybook.com for the app. Okay, congratulations. I mean, you have an amazing story.
Thank you.
You really do. I want to just close by bringing it back to your brother, because I feel like a lot of people who watch and listen to this podcast are grabbing at any last bit of hope that they can. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people that tune in have lost people close to them. There's a lot of grief. And could you just maybe share how you choose all these years later? I mean, you described him as your hero, to honor your brother's life and legacy and how you think about that, and give us some insight. Obviously, it's not.
So about 20 years ago, I had a therapist have me do an exercise that he called the impossible future, which is actually in the book. And in it, he said, describe your impossible future. It's a future where there's no obstacles. You can do whatever you want. And so I did that. And he said, once you do that in writing, ask yourself, why am I here? And what is my purpose? And I did this whole thing, and part of it was I will do something for my brother one day. And I thought at the time it was going to be a center for recovery with animals. I don't know why I thought that. But when this came in, when I had the opportunity to write this book and then create the app, it's, I thought, there it is. That's the thing I'm doing for my brother. And just talking about him is how I keep him alive, but I also think I've learned so much from other people sharing their stories. When we hide, when we don't share our stories, it poisons us, it kills us. So any chance I get to talk about him, I do.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I always share because people will say I don't have a following. And this is actually something I heard from Gary Vee. It's like if you have 250 followers on Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever it is, and you close your eyes and you picture yourself talking to 250 people, that's a huge speaking engagement.
Yeah.
Right. So our stories do matter.
Yeah.
There's always someone listening. So I love that. I love that sentiment. And I would love for you to come out and speak to some of our women, like the patients, and share your story at some point. Cause I feel like they would, so many of our patients at release and so many of our clients, they struggle with the idea that it's too late, right? It's too late to turn it around. And they're 26, 28, 30, just like you were, kind of finding their way in the world. Mm. I think it could be really valuable. And I don't know. I've toyed with the idea of getting a dog or something for the houses. So maybe we'll do that in your brother's honor. Like the animals do play a nice role.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'd love to do that.
I'm glad this worked out. Stephanie Szostak, look her up. She's coming. What's the movie coming out?
Soul on Fire, October 10th in theaters.
We're going to the theaters for the next one. Obviously, a lot of people know The Devil Wears. That's like a classic, right?
Iconic, I would say. But but there's number 2 coming out. I'm not in it.
Oh, are you upset?
No,
we let it go.
I mean, it would have been fun to make just a little appearance.
Yeah, we'll let it go. Iconic, yeah, okay. I'm not a TV guy. I'm not a movie guy. So, I feel like I've been forced to watch it a few times. So I've probably seen you.
I play Jacqueline Follet. It was a tiny role, but somehow it made an impression because it was Meryl Streep's nemesis, which was fun. First studio film opposite Meryl Streep.
Let's go.
Yeah. Thank you, Zach, for having me.
Thank you for coming in. And we're going to go have a putting contest. Do we have time? Yes. Okay, quick putting contest. Yes, we have to.
Yes.
William and Mary, the tribe. Are they still the tribe?
They are. Isn't that weird?
How are they? All right, that's a whole nother. Yeah. William and Mary, come on. Virginia.
Wait, do you know, did you?
Yellow
You're from
and
Jersey.
Green, yellow and green.
Yeah.
Of course I know. I'm like.
Big sports guy.
I don't know, but I can't wait to take the tribe down right now. I'm going to sink it. All right, that's all for today.
The man talks shit.
Yeah, I talk shit.